Hello, my loves. Welcome to the podcast. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube, welcome to the YouTube channel. I am Khandie. So, this is an episode for the Loud Lens, which is the no holds barred, the photography podcast where we say it how it is. And today we're diving into the hidden danger that could cost you thousands or even just get you sued and in trouble. We are talking copyright, logos, and illegal shoot locations. You think I took it, the photo's mine. You could be wrong. And I know how that's going to fit. Photographers have been sued, arrested even, and banned and lost major deals, all because they don't follow the rules, because they choose not to, they're ignorant to it, or they just think it doesn't apply. So before you get snapping and featuring stuff in your portfolio, or heaven forbid, posting a night shot of the Eiffel Tower, let's get into this. And I did not know about the Eiffel Tower for a very long time, and I'm surprised more people don't know about this. So let's go. Now, how can a photo get you sued? Okay, so you've pitched this. You've landed a sweet gig. You've got this beautiful shot you're doing, and you're photographing it. You're on the underground where you've hired the location to shoot in, because if you didn't know, you can hire a location on the underground to shoot on, and you're shooting it, and then you put it online, and then TFL remind you that you have their logos in the background of that campaign. So here is the fee to use their logo. Now, you might not know this happened, but I happen to be scrolling the old TikTok. If you're on TikTok, find me. It's Khandie Photo. And there was a fashion campaign talking about how they had done a campaign at a location that you can hire and not realize that the TFL logo was everywhere, and you actually have to remove it because it's used commercially beyond what they were meant to. They said it was a photo shoot, but now they're selling these images and they use them for marketing. It's a whole different issue. And you might think, oh, what? You hide it. It's not quite that. As much as we're protective over our copyright, so are other people. I think we cannot be mad about ours if we don't allow others. I mean, I know photographers I know there's a rumor of the photographer that got done by a very famous coffee company because he happened to have a photo of his model and the coffee cup with its logo was right in front. And that's because he had used the image commercially and without obtaining permission from them. And their legal team had cited unauthorized use of their trademark. And he was told, remove it or face a huge fee. And guess what? They've got enough money to challenge you. And I'm not about to fight that. So there's also like many places and examples where people have shot where they shouldn't have. Such, for example, a photographer did a photo shoot on the London Underground, and without securing a necessary permit, you might go mad, but it is a location, it's maintained by people, and the Transport for London TfL officials halted that photo shoot, imposed a fine for unauthorized commercial photography, and escorted both them and their entire career model off of the location and told them they weren't allowed back. TfL requires photographers to obtain permits for professional shoots to ensure safety and manage disruptions. And one of the things they don't want you shooting specifically is in rush hour. Now, a lot of people chance it. I've seen it myself, but I've also seen people getting done for it. And one example of people using TfL and then having to stop is there was a famous girl on TikTok who was called the Underground or the Train Girl, and she did this weird sort of angular dance thing. And it was all fun and games until she started earning money. And then I believe someone said that TfL sort of said to her, you're earning money now, you can't use our stuff like that because you're using us and our logo, and you're shooting commercially now because you're earning money from it. There's a big difference between commercial gain and private use. Private use is, whatever, but once you start getting traction, so all these people who've joined the creative fund on TikTok and you're shooting for that TikTok and earning money off those, you are technically using you're now commercial use. So have a look into that. And one thing that I don't think many people are aware, and I have to say I was a little bit ignorant to it, it's about street art. And now you might think, well, what was the problem? Well, there was a fashion brand that used a photograph featuring a graffiti mural as a backdrop for a commercial shoot. The graffiti artist then went on to sue the brand for copyright infringement, claiming unauthorized use of their artwork. Their artwork was art, but it's not for you to essentially use for your commercial gain. It's for people to enjoy it and look at it, but you can't then sell it copies of it. Yeah, you get what I mean. So the court ruled in the favor of the artist, emphasizing that street art is protected under copyright law. So it makes me wonder about all these people who go around photographing street art and then selling prints or notebooks or whatever of them on. Are you not infringing copyright? And I think this came up in Rangefinder magazine, but have a look into that, because I was like, what? And I also believe the UK government copyright section talks about it too. So there you go. I did not know that. I mean, I should know that, but now I do. Another one that comes up is the logo trap. Now, as someone who has worked on sets for films, done fashion, I know, and even shot documentary stuff, I know that this is a big thing. So often you'll see logos are taped up or they're changed. That brands own their logos and are really hot on making sure that they're not misrepresented and not used without their permission. And trust me, they will find you. They will find you. So clothing brands, those sports logos, you need to cover them up. They need approval. Your trainers, be careful. Fast food cups, fast food in itself. If it's the main focus, you could find yourself in a bit of a sticky wicket. Think about your cars that you're using. Are they the main focus? You might need permission if you're using it for commercial gain. So, you need to be careful. And people, why would they care? They care because you're making money using their imagery. Now, I will just say, I am aware that there has always been, around Christmas time, people use the Grinch, don't they? And you always see these photographers going, oh, I've got Grinch sessions. Well, the Grinch is actually copyrighted and is owned by the Dr. Seuss Foundation, I think it's called. And they are so hot on people misusing it that they have cease and desist ready to fire out and have even sued people. The other one that I remember when the Disney movie came out the Barbie movie came out and people started doing Barbie shoots, and it was kind of cute, but you can't bill it as Barbie, or you can't bill even Harry Potter shoots. You have to be, because it is a copyrighted, trademarked name. And Mattel, when it comes to Barbie, do not mess around. Now, there was a photographer in Birmingham who had a Barbie box, which was like a party prop that you could have for your birthday party. And she was shooting people inside this Barbie box. And she got a cease and desist from Mattel with a threat to sue. She continued. Because although the item was licensed for use for parties, you couldn't use it in your paid shoots. It's not licensed for that. It's a whole different use. And people are like, oh my God, it's not this thing. It is if someone was misusing your images, you jump up and down. So it makes sense. Sorry, that's my shoes. I don't know what I've just done there. That crack's quite scary. Don't worry, it's not a bone. It's just me cracking my shoes, seems. Okay, and the other one is locations where you can get fined or even arrested. Now, you might think, oh, I am well aware that there's been some urban explorers who have been done for trespass. Now, that's a civil matter, apparently, in the UK. But I will say, do you really need that on your conscience when you're trying to run a professional business? Some people don't mind and some do, but be very mindful. I need to mention this. While I was in the Peak District, we watched the police arrive to escort some influencers off of a farm, because although the farm had a public pathway through it, you didn't have the right to deviate off of that path. Just because it's going through a field, you don't get a right to be around the field. You can only be on that pathway. And these influencers had been doing some weird fashion shot next to this guy's cattle. One, leave the cows alone. They didn't sign no release, did they? But there was farmer had told him to move. They're like, yeah, in a minute. And they didn't pay him any heed. So he got the rural police out. They escorted them off and gave them a warning. I don't know what happened, but everyone saw it and people filmed it. And I do believe people found out who the content creator was and they got hell for it. So be mindful. One of the ones I've already mentioned is London Underground. And I do believe that permits start at like £250 an hour. That's quite steep. So be mindful. Another one that I found, because I've had to pay for it in the past, is in London. Now I know Greenwich, which is the naval college thing, the old one. It's £450 approximately right now for engagement shoots to be shot there, plus obviously your fee. I don't know, people are like, oh, I'll just chance it, I don't care. I have seen people be escorted off those premises. I think they're becoming more and more hot on it as they realize just how many people are able to make money off of content thanks to the likes of TikTok Creator Fund, the Instagram Creator Fund, and YouTube monetization. They're realizing now, which is why maybe I believe the train girl from the TFL, if you don't know, she was on TikTok. She did these sort of like dance moves, very angular, low angle, sharp movements. And people loved it, went viral. And then she was started to earn money off it. And then TFL, from what I understand, obviously from the comment section reading here, so it might not be all true, reached out and said, you can't do this unless you get a permit for it now. Because she was earning money while using their property. Up until she wasn't earning money, it was completely viable. But once you start earning money or you start getting traction from it, I think it's a bit different. Now, before you go, oh, I'm not earning a lot of money, it's not really commercial. If you're using it to promote yourself, I would almost say that's borderline commercial, if not actually commercial, because you are no longer just using it for yourself. It's not personal. You're now using it as promotion. Therefore, it's commercial. Commercial doesn't necessarily always mean paid work. Another one that I think we need to be careful of is photographing in museums and galleries. I have recently went to the VA. And I saw a influencer escorted out of the VA. She was in a quiet little car on the stairwell doing her outfit sort of motion thing, and she got escorted out. If you are saying you're an influencer and you're tagging brands in your clothing, it is no longer a personal shoot. It is definitely a commercial shoot at that point. And she was very indignant and a lot of people saw it. I think they are cracking down quite heavily on it. Be careful, because there's lots of places that you might think you can shoot, such as Westfield, London. They're privately owned. They'll escort you out. Airports, another one that I find utterly insane when people want to film in the security, when you go through security, why are you filming? There's literally signs up saying don't film, but people do. I filmed in an airport. I filmed at a terminal when I'm waiting, and I did a whole video of me chatting. I made sure there's no one in it. And I even asked, and they said, no, it's fine. There's no one here. It's fine. And I was just doing a vlog. It wasn't like, and it wasn't a paid shoot or anything like that. It was just a vlog, and that's okay. But I have heard rumors and talk where people have had their equipment confiscated and actual severe legal action taken against them, depending on what country and what offense you made. But it does happen, so you need to be super careful. You might think, oh, poo-poo, I don't want to lose my kit because I decided not to ask permission. Okay, so how to shoot without getting screwed? How do you protect yourself? So this is what I do. By all means, do your own due diligence. I blur and remove logos, particularly if I know that, if they're not the main focus, it's kind of okay. But if they're going to be like, I don't know, I got a Five Guys cup like this, I'm going to change it. I'm going to remove it. You might recognize it, but I don't want the logo on there. I also Google, I just go film location, photography permit, and I add that into my costs. If you're unsure, you can ask the venue directly. I will say there are times when I have chased my permits, and I have chased and had to no avail. And I have phoned, and then I've just been told you can just go. And I'm like, well, I fit in all the file. We can't find it. Just go. If anyone challenges you, let them know that you've applied. And I'm like, oh, okay. Whereas other places are really strict and you can't shoot at all. I was shooting in an area in London, and I got approached and was told, well, have you got a permit? And I had to produce my permit. And then there was a photographer a little bit further along who didn't have a permit, and they said, you need to disappear now. You can't be here shooting this. And the photographer was very indignant, but they were very like, we have rules, you need to follow them. So for me, get yourself a location permit if you need it, model release contracts, whatever. If you don't have those, I really wouldn't do the job. For me, it's not worth the risk getting sued. I know a lot of people like to fly by the seat of their pants. I'm not one. I'm professional. I want to get it done. The one that shocks me, though, will always be street art. It is copyrighted, and if it's recognizable, you will need permission to use it commercially in any capacity. So to all you people out there who have gone around photographing street art and selling prints or putting them on your stock images, I'd be very careful, because according to the UK government copyright notice part page, whatever it is called, they actually say that it's copyrighted. So can someone? I need someone to check though. How would you? I mean, I don't know. Like, everyone's photographed everyone by graffiti, right? I mean, they have. I mean, I definitely have in the time, but it wasn't the main thing. It was the model that was the main focus. So I guess that's how it's different. So here's some takeaways. Don't be that photographer. Logos in your photos, be careful. Blur them out. Brands will come for you. It's not worth it. Public places are not always public. Know before you shoot. And just because you took the photo doesn't mean you own the photo. Break the rules if you want, but you could get fined, banned, or even worse, sued. One of the takeaways I think is really interesting is the Eiffel Tower. At night, it is copyrighted and is owned by, and it is looked after by a specific branch in France, and they do not take any prisoners. I am well aware of an influencer, I think most people remember this incident, where she did some content in Paris with the tower behind all sparkly, and she was doing something for a fast fashion brand, and she got threatened with being sued and had to remove all of her stuff, and she was very indignant online, but the French people came for her, and as I understand, she actually lost a brand deal because the brand also got threatened because they had then posted it on after she'd removed it. So there is that. So it's up to you. Let's discuss it. Have you ever shot anyone without permission? Do you have any horror stories? I'd love some good gossip. As ever, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. I'll see you all at the photo show if you're going. But I need to go pack ready for tomorrow's very early start to Manchester. I really appreciate you being here, and it's been a blast chatting to you. But I really do need to pack. Take care. Bye.